It's not actually broken, guys. I don't know if you thought it was broken. All right, welcome back, guys. Back to B. I'm here in B. Play some bass. Let me show you a thing too. So the pattern that we're starting with today is number 59. It's a bit of an oct. Today we're doing hammer. One of my rules was typically to not have two slurs in a row. All right, so I'm going to show you to sort of find a way that's a little bit comfortable for me with this. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to get in here, so I'm just going to have a little bit of a little jam. I'm going to have some bacon jam on myself over here. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm going to play a little bit. That's enough jam for you guys. All right, so what are we gonna do today? Like I said, open, slap, hammer, hammer. Now, that's basically this is a 3-note per string. 3 notes per string if you don't count the open note is what I'm doing. All right. So I am counting the open, but I'm kind of just that's because open's in the pattern. All right. I would probably do this with a tetrachord in closed position. Right, but since we're doing open position, I'm going to go open. And then we do what I call a first position scale, okay? So that means we're starting on our first finger. And I like to do this with minor, do this big stretch, all right? Now you can do that. We're gonna do it. Okay, so that's kind of the thing. But that is a major scale, so that's a little tricky. I'm going open, slap the G on the 3rd fret, hammer the A on the 5th fret. Same thing on the next string. Just basically doing a G major scale here with the open notes. Now we've done this 4th fret, so it's kind of the same thing except we're moving up this first finger from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret, okay? Next string is the same thing. Next one, we're going to move over our ring finger from the 5th fret to the 6th fret. Okay, guys, so that's kind of what I'm doing with this one. That was my way of avoiding the awkwardness of having the double hammer-ons in a row, okay, is to just do it like, you know? So basically you want to practice it with all the modes. You want to practice it in the circle of fifths. You want to practice it chromatically. You also want to practice all the modes on the same note. Like, I'll run you through this, okay? The differences between doing the modes in a key or doing the modes on the same note, all right? So we're going to start with G minor, okay? So first we're going to run over that. We just did G major. Now we're going to do G minor. For me, this type of fingering, as opposed to this type, because this covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets, whereas this covers 1, 2, 3, 4 frets. So you don't have to do the stretch to do minor scales in the beginning when you're starting in that position. But as soon as we hit here, if we're keeping in the same fretboard position, we have to change finger scale position, right? So first position scale in third position. Still. Now we're still in third position, but now we have to do... So we're still in third position, but it becomes a second position scale, essentially, because this is our root note. Right? So when we're doing this, this is a root note, right? So we end up with that big stretch anyways. There's a way to do that where we can just sort of shift our position and we won't have to do the big stretch. We'll just copy the same position higher. But it'll be the same scales. Yeah. We still have to do one at the top. Later when we can do a slide in there, this will be a lot easier. Avoid the whole stretch altogether, right? So G minor. Now, we're going to go up the rest of the modes as best we can. Alright, so I'm going 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret. Oh, sorry, those first two, the pinkies are in 8th frets. So it goes 5, 6, 8, 5, 6, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, okay? Okay, next we're on Ionian, or your major scale. This is your relative major now. We're doing it on B flat. Back to that stretch, but our frets are a little smaller up here. Now Dorian. Yeah. We're on B flat Ionian. That means C Dorian. Sometimes Dorian throws me off because that major 6, you know? Looks like a minor, but you got to do that stretch. Creates a tritone between the minor third and the major 6. Really interesting sound. Cool. So, next we're on C Dorian here. Now we're going to be on D Phrygian. I do have a video, an older video, so you guys will have to bear with you know, when my channel is brand new, how I think about the modes. What's the easiest way to remember the modes, okay? So I'll put that in the description below, and I'll put a little card, and I'll put a thing at the end of the screen for you guys if I can do that with the live videos. And you guys can also just go dig it. Go dig for it in the back of my channel. It's called something along the lines of the best way to remember the modes. Easy way to remember the modes. Getting your modes down, okay? Phrygian and Dorian. And if you don't know what that means, don't feel bad. You know, it's not English. It's music. But go look that up. Do some research on modes. And yeah, I'm going to be doing some more stuff on modes in the future too. So make sure that you're coming back to that. Okay, so where were we? D Locrian, I believe. No. D Phrygian. See, I get those mixed up because they both have the flat 2. All right, now we're on E flat Lydian. There's your Lydian. All right. Next, Mixolydian. You have an F Mixolydian. Or your dominant, you know, just a regular old dominant 7. Okay. Got off track there a little bit. Okay, and then we're back to G minor. So that's the whole octave, all the modes. Back down, so minor. All right, cool. So that's all the modes in G minor. Open, slap, hammer, hammer, okay? You guys noticed I did once or twice in there with the open slap, so you can do that too. All right, one last thing before we go. I'm going to do all those same modes, but they're all going to be out of G, so you can see the difference. Those are 2 ways to practice it, all right? So, G minor. Next, G Locrian. Next, G Ionian. Next, G Dorian. I'm going to do that one wrong again because I had a boo-boo in there. That's that same boo-boo. Again. All right, G Dorian. Now G Mixolydian. All right, I don't know why I took a huge jump there because Mixolydian is in the middle of the Dorian, and it just got me thinking about that. Mixolydian doesn't come after Dorian. I skipped 2 of them. So, Phrygian is after Dorian. Ooh, another wrong note. Nice. G Phrygian. That was G Lydian now. All right. Now back to the G Mixolydian we did already. G. Now we're back to G minor. All right. So that's a great way to practice these. The other 2 ways that I would suggest is chromatically on both strings, you know. So pick each of those modes essentially you want to do chromatically. Let's do what? G Locrian, okay? Or not G Locrian, but just Locrian shape. Starting on the 1st fret. Second fret. 3rd fret. 4th fret. 5th fret. And so up, all the way down. Great way to practice it. The last way to practice it is, not the last way, but the next way I'm going to suggest, and the last one I'm going to suggest today, is to practice it in the circle of 5ths and 4ths. And so on, all right? So basically, we're just going to do the circle of 5ths, all right? So C, G, E, A, E, E, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, G sharp to D sharp. All right, so we're not going to go that high. I'm just going to give you the first couple. The reason that this is a useful practice is because these shapes sometimes look different depending on whether you're starting on this string or whether you're starting on this string, okay? So let's do this one, C Dorian, okay? But we're also going to start it on the low string. Or we're going to start it on the root note and go up and then go back down and then back up. So, right? All right, C Dorian. Now we're going to do G Dorian. All right, now we're going to do D, Dorian. Okay, now we're going to do A, Dorian. E, Dorian. B, Dorian. Right? Okay, guys, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me.